Noong nakaraang linggo, nakakwentuhan natin ang isa sa mga pinakakilalang personalidad sa motorcycle industry, si Zach Lucero ng Makina. Pero bago pa nakilala si Zach sa industriya at noong panahong iilan pa lang ang may lehitimong interes sa motorcycle scene, may isang media at events platform na matagal nang pinopromote at ipinakikilala sa publiko ang industriya ng motorsiklo at motorcycle racing. At yan ay walang iba kundi ang Inside Racing na itinaguyod ng isa sa mga haligi ng industriya na si Al Camba.
Unlimited trips sa Pinoy Highway. We'll be going far sa ilalim ng sun, with the 3 golden stars on a glorious day. Ride, ride, ride. Get up and ride today. Ride, ride, ride. We gonna ride the J. Come on, let's ride today. We're gonna ride the H. Get up, get ready to ride. Come on, let's ride today. We're gonna ride with Jay. We're gonna ride PH.
Ride PH Season 7 is co-presented by Angkas. Napaka-normal na ngang makakita ng sandamakmak na motorsiklo ngayon sa mga kalsada. Karamihan nga sa atin, siguradong may isa o dalawang kaibigang nagmamotor. Pero noong 90s at early 2000s, malayo-layo ang sitwasyon. Iilan lang ang mga nagmamotor at napakasama pa ng imahe nito sa publiko. Si Al Camba, sa car industry pa nagtatrabaho noon. Pero mahilig na siya sa motorsiklo noon pa man, kaya naisipan niyang itayo ang Inside Racing.
Ano ba yung Inside Racing? Magazine ba kayo? Ano platform kayo eh?
Yeah.
So, oo.
Actually, Inside Racing, medyo matagal-tagal na kami.
Okay.
No? For 18 years. We were one of the first media to exclusively cover small bikes. No?
Okay.
It was my passion kasi I raced before.
Correct.
And really, bikes is one of my passion. Anything on 2 wheels.
So, man ako yung idea.
When I was racing, the reason why I got into motorcycle is because of the magazine. Road Racing World, Cycle World, Cycle Guide, name it pare, I have all of those. Motorcyclists, even yung mga defunct magazines na.
Binabasa mo lang.
Oh, I have that still at my house. So, that got me interested and hooked on bikes.
Pero sa dami ng uri ng pagmumotor, bakit racing?
At that time, wala pang social media. Ang influencer or opinion leaders, yung daredevil na racer.
Okay.
Diba? Yung nagre-race, yung mabilis mag-ride, no?
Oo.
Like yung mga legends natin, sila Totti,
Oo.
sila
Butch Chase.
Butch Chase, di ba?
Oo.
Those are
Oo.
the first
Oo.
motorcycle influencers,
Oo.
di ba? So sila yung tinarget namin na if people will pasikatin natin to pa,
Oo.
then mas more na magpa-follow ng racing.
Bukod sa karera, nag-focus din ang Inside Racing Magazine sa mga small displacement na mga motor.
I think the nation will benefit if there are more small motorcycles because it will make the a portion of the population mobile,
Okay.
which means more productive.
Correct.
So, ganon.
Economy will
Economy.
roll.
Oo. Yun ang naisip ko nun.
Ilang taong namayagpag ang Inside Racing Magazine at marami ang naging loyal readers nito. At noong mid-2000s, naisipan ni Al na pasukin ang events para sa motorcycle community, ang Inside Racing Bike Fest. Nung una, isang maliit na booth lang ito sa loob ng isang mas malaking trade show. Pero matapos lamang ang ilang taon, naging ito na ang itinuturing na pinakamalaking motorcycle expo sa buong bansa.
Bakit tingin mo na dinudumog yung mga events nila yan?
Oh. I was just fortunate. I did it at the right time.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Because I was able to, because of the following that we generated sa IR, and it's very niche. Kasi, I tapped a market na walang pumapansin nun eh. I gave them importance, I gave them focus, even yung mga manufacturers, hindi sila sanay sa above the line. Panay below the line lang, bentahan based on discounts, based on promo, bundle with the dealers. Now, suddenly, alam nila na if they do marketing and attract the consumer, can sell.
Dahil sa pangunguna ng Inside Racing sa pag-cover at pagbibigay ng exposure sa racers, motorcycle manufacturers, at pati na sa accessories. Unti-unting nabago ang imahe ng motorsiklo. Nakita na ng publiko ang kagandahan ng paggamit nito sa negosyo at trabaho. At unti-unti na rin itong naging cool.
Ang dream ko nung 2004, that time hindi pa eh, lahat ng subdivision magkaroon ng isang small bike para makita na yung practicality. And subdivision, kasi pag sabi subdivision, ito yung dati hindi pumapansin sa small bike. Now, iba na, dahil lahat meron na. In fact, now, bihira yung bahay na walang scooter or underboard.
Dati sa probinsya, yan.
Yeah.
Katuwang nila yan sa trabaho.
Yeah.
Ngayon, kahit dito sa city,
Yun.
parang imposibleng wala eh.
Yun.
Ang Inside Racing naman mula sa magazines at mga expo, nag-organisa na rin ng sariling racing events mula sa sanctioned street races hanggang sa track events. Paniwala kasi ni Al, dapat nagmumula sa grassroots level ang racing para mas tangkilikin ito ng publiko.
How many races do you organize
dami. We have
in a
different-
year? In a year?
Ngayon, we're gonna reach 20.
20 races?
Kasi yung street racing, ang thinking ko kasi dyan is, sabi nila kaya sikat ang PBA dahil may NBA.
Oo.
I don't believe in that. Kaya sikat ang PBA dahil may Kanto Basketball, Barangay League,
Agawan buo?
Intercommercial League.
Okay.
So from the grassroots, alam na nila yung rules. Sa racing, ganun din.
Kasabay nito, dumami na rin ang media na nagko-cover ng motorcycle news at events. Kaya lumawak palalo ang exposure ng industriya. At lalo pang dumami yan ng sumabog ang social media. Naglabasa na kasi ang napakaraming vloggers at motovloggers sa motorcycle scene.
Ang good side is, now, it's easy to promote.
Correct.
Dati kasi, you have to have ngayon platform na lang ang tawag, app na lang. Dati you have to have capital.
Oo. Oo.
Either you can afford a TV show,
Correct.
or you can afford to print,
Oo.
di ba? And have your own publishing house before you can be a media.
Correct.
So, now, because of this free platform, it's easy na.
Accessibility. Naging madali.
So, mas marami. Like I said, kaya din siguro na-accelerate yung pag-boom dahil dumami yung vloggers, dumami yung ganon. So, I think that's the positive. Yun lang. Ang bad lang is, I hope, when you have a big following, na you
Use it properly.
use it properly. Yun lang. Yun lang ang bad side ko. Kasi, obviously, some don't.
Correct.
I'm not saying all. I'm saying some don't, no? I hope na konti lang sila. Kasi I don't see everything eh. So, yun lang. Yun lang nakita ko na guys. Kasi nga, dahil hindi na makakontrol, wala ng censorship, and may delete, may edit. Kasi kami nun sa print, demanda ka. You really have to be responsible. You have to know your worth, your value, and your power. No? Kasi lalo na yung mga hindi sanay ng maging sikat, when it comes to their head, naiiba yung ano eh.
Sa pagbabago ng motorcycle media landscape, hindi ba natatakot ang Inside Racing na maungusan na ng ibang platforms?
Sa laki ng market and sa segmentation ng market, it's really a tough challenge to dominate all.
Correct.
Nung time ko, madali.
Oo.
Madali.
Kayo, in general.
Pag sinabing motor, IR nga, they know me as IR, not Alcamba. We identify which we can
Focus on your market.
we focus on our market kasi nga I believe nobody can dominate.
Sa kabila ng napakalaking pagbabago sa industriya at pagsikat ng motorsiklo, naniniwala si Al na marami pa rin tayong pwedeng gawin para mas mapabuti pa ito.
Hanggang ngayon, although may improvements na, need pa rin, yung sabi mo kanina is yung education ng safety riding. No?
Okay.
That's the number one. So that, kasi part of respecting the two wheels is how safe we are sa mata ng mga hindi nagra-ride.
Correct.
So,
Image pa rin eh.
Image pa rin.
Kasabay ng exposure na nakukuha ng motorcycle racing dahil sa motorcycle media, unti-unti na ring dumarami ang nagkaka-interes at nagkakahilig sa sport na ito. At kahit nga hindi pa ito kasing sikat ng ibang sport dito sa Pilipinas, unti-unti na ring nagmamarka ang Pinoy racers sa local at international racing scene. At kabilang sa mga nagtatayo ng bandera ng mga Pinoy sa racetrack, walang iba kundi ang magkapatid na Troy at TJ Alberto, na dalawa sa top Filipino racers natin ngayon. Ang 25-year-old na si TJ tinapos ang 2022 bilang back-to-back champion ng Philippine Superbike Championship o PSBK, ang itinuturing na pinaka-premyadong racing tournament sa bansa. Si Troy naman na 21 years old pa lang, naging unang Pinoy na sumali at nag-podium sa German International Motorcycle Super Sports 300 Championship sa Czech Republic noong June 2022.
Growing up, I was always exposed around motorcycles, right? And of course, I've watched my dad race. I ended up starting riding motorcycles at about 4 years old, and then racing at basically 5.
It was exactly the same, the same path that TJ took. They just copied it for me. So I also started riding motocross at 4. I don't remember if I liked it or not, but I assume I liked it because it's not like I said no to going to the track ever.
May pagmamanahan naman kasi ang motorcycle skills ng magkapatid. Anak kasi sila ng Philippine racing legend at dating Philippine Superbike champion na si Toti Alberto. Ang mga Alberto rin ang may-ari ng Ducati Philippines. Kaya para sa magkapatid, hindi lang ito basta sport.
Ever since the beginning, it's like, yeah, you grow up, and then the goal is to be a champion racer. You know, without this sport, this hobby, or this business, or whatever you may call it, I don't know what else I would be doing. So that's really, it's in my blood. Simple as that.
I think important to consider is that aside from my dad, who else brought us to the races? It was also our mom. My dad would be the one that teaches us how to ride, but the one standing on the track, pushing us on would be my mom.
Di tulad ng ibang bata na napipilitan lang gawin yung gusto ng kanilang mga magulang, ang magkapatid na Alberto, addict daw talaga magmotor.
When you're in school or outside, or especially when you're younger, it's more like, man, I wish this could be over so I can go ride my bike. Right? That's how crazy you get about riding motorcycles. Like I remember when I'm in school, Monday to Friday, I'm dreading it because I know Saturday I'm gonna go race, right? When the end of the day is near, I'm so excited because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get to go home and then my bike's there, you know, get to load my bike, or maybe we can go ride in the afternoon.
Parehong Alberto, parehong racer, at magkalapit pa ng edad. Hindi ba sila nag-aaway o nagiging masyadong competitive?
No, I hate him. No, I'm joking. It's healthy, yeah.
Sure.
Of course, you always want to try and beat each other, but it's never reached a boiling point where like I get mad at TJ or he gets mad at me. We both benefit from each other. We learn from each other's riding style, from how we train.
I'm sure Troy gets some influence from me, and also me. I learn a lot from him. And of course, on the bike, we can compare a lot. So I think that's one of our strengths as brothers. Now we're able to have training partners all the time. So we compete against each other definitely, right? Even though we're not on the same bike now on the track, there's still competition there, right? Of course, we want to be the best. But I think that kind of competition is healthy competition. And as a athlete, a competitor, you should always strive to be better than the rest.
Pero kahit nga magkapatid, magkaiba raw sila sa style ng pagkarera.
We would set times identical to each other. But the execution, how he does it versus I do it, is completely different. We can see that I'm quite an aggressive style rider. Like I prefer to maybe get on the brakes a lot later, get on the gas a lot harder. But while Troy is like more smooth, right? Troy likes to carry more corner speed and use the throttle and the brakes quite in a smooth way.
Sa dami ng kanilang achievements sa murang edad, marami na ngang umiidolo sa magkapatid. Masaya sila na nitong mga nagdaang taon, sumikat na ng husto ang racing bilang isang sport. At dahil daw ito sa mga sumusuporta sa industriya tulad ng Angkas, na kinuha ang magkapatid bilang racers ng Angkas Motorsports Team.
I think it's Angkas has done so much already for the sport in the short amount of time that they've been involved. No, like for example, they sponsored us as racers. They sponsored EJ. They sponsored a championship. They have so much more plans spent for the future. They even brought broadcasting into our races in the Philippines. So it's such a big impact that they've done already to the sport. Honestly, for me, I'm honored to be working with such a company.
Yeah, definitely we can see the impact of Angkas, not only to me and my team, but to motorsports in general. In the last 2 years, motorsports has grown so much, right? And we're really excited for what the future brings, especially with Angkas.
Ngayong 2023, marami raw exciting na plano ang magkapatid. Makikita na ulit kaya natin silang maglaban sa isang karera.
For this year, I will continue to race in the World Supersport 300 Championship. Last year was a nice year of learning, and I hope this year I can maybe fight for some podiums, some top 10s in the championship. And in the coming years, we'll see. Like I hope to stay in the World Championship, maybe with the goal of being in World Superbike in the future.
For the last 2 years, we've taken the Philippine Championship. This year, we're gonna do that again. We're gonna race again in the Philippine Superbike Championship. I hope to be able to defend the title for the 3rd year. And in the future, I hope maybe I can make a return to racing out of the country. Like in the past, I was able to do Super Stock 1000 in World Superbike. So maybe, I don't know, maybe in the future I can join Troy in the World Superbike paddock.
May mensahe rin sila sa lahat ng rider na mahilig mag-racing sa kalsada.
For me, I really appreciate the passion of the riding community. Maybe too passionate. So I hope that we can find a way to bring the riders on the street and transition them to the circuit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of riding on the street. I personally own a street bike myself and I use it all the time. But one thing we have to remember is that when we want to go fast, we want to test our limits, we should do it on the track. When we ride on the street, we're riding for leisure, right? For fun. We should be riding for the gram, for nice pictures, right? To have a good time with friends, right? But not to test our limits or to race against each other.
Sa 2 season ng Ride PH Garage, napakadami na naming motorsiklong nagawa ng mga kwento at mga review. Pero lahat ng mga motorsiklong yan, may iisang common. Lahat gumagamit ng gasolina. Pero ngayon, espesyal yung ating pag-uusapang motorsiklo kasi hindi ito gumagamit ng gasolina. Gumagamit ito ng kuryente. Pag-uusapan natin ngayon ang Horwin EK3. Isa sa mga pinakamalaking konsiderasyon ng paggamit at pag-operate ng isang scooter or motorsiklo is yung gasoline consumption. Kasi una, talagang steady na nagmamahal ang gasoline prices ngayong panahon. At the same time, medyo malaki-laki ang effect nito sa environment. At dahil nga dito, sa taong 2035, minandato na ng State ng California at ng buong European Union na itigil ang pag-manufacture at pagbenta ng gasoline at diesel-powered vehicles. Dahil sa phase-out na ito, nagkaroon ng isang malaking opportunity ang iba't ibang manufacturers, especially sa Asia, ang paggawa ng mga electric vehicles. Isang example dito is yung company na Horwin na gumagawa ng electric scooters. At kahit sabihin mong medyo bagong brand ito sa pagpasok sa Pilipinas, isa ito sa mga sikat na brands na bumibenta sa Europe. At syempre, bagong teknolohiya, yan ang tanong ng publiko. Handa na ba ang electric vehicles? Palitan ang internal combustion engines. Hindi ba ako ititirik ito? Pag nabaha ba ako, hindi ba ako makukuryente? Itong Horwin EK3, ibang-iba sa mga nakikita mong e-bike sa lansangan ngayon. Lumalaban ito sa loob ng premium scooter segment na may mga katumbas na 150 to 200cc. At pagdating sa pagsukat ng laki ng makina, hindi na ito gumagamit ng cc. Kasi nga, hindi na ito kumukonsumo ng gasolina. Ang tatlong madalas nagiging hadlang ng mga e-bike is yung range, ang battery, at ang charging. Kasi nga, hindi mo alam kung hanggang saan aabot ang isang karga ng mga e-bike. Pangalawa, saan mo ba itong pwede i-charge? At pangatlo is yung safety at kalidad ng mga battery na ginagamit ito. Yung Horwin EK3 gumagamit ng 72 volts at 36 ampere hour na battery. At makikita mo, very easily accessible ito sa ilalim ng upuan. Pagdating naman ng pag-charge, na-charge ito ng isang simpleng wall outlet adapter lang. Kiniklaim ng Horwin na kaya itong mag-full charge sa loob ng 4 na oras. At sa isang charge na yon ay tumatagal ang kanyang range from 90 to 100 kilometers. So for context lang, ang average na commute from QC to BGC minsan umaabot ng mga 20 kilometers. Itong Horwin sa isang charge umaabot ng 100 kilometers sa isang karga. So ang lumalabas ang isang karga ng battery ay kaya maglimang balikan mula QC hanggang BGC. Ngayon pagdating sa performance, hindi ito basta-bastang e-bike. Ang Horwin EK3 ay umaabot ng 95 kilometers per hour. At kahit sabihin mong 6.5 kilowatts lang ang kanyang motor na may mga katumbas sa mga 5 horsepower pagdating sa combustion engines, meron itong maximum torque na 195 Newton meters. At instant ang torque at hindi na kailangan mag-rev. Ibig sabihin nito na napakabilis itong umarangkada. Ang stop and go traffic baliwala lang sa kanya. Isa pang advantage sa mga electric vehicles, kahit nakahinto ka sa stoplight o nakahinto sa standstill na traffic, basta't hindi ka umaandar, hindi ito kumukonsumo ng kuryente. Ibig sabihin nito, yung kanyang range ay fixed, regardless man sa sitwasyon ng traffic. Bukod sa mga obvious advantages ng isang electric bike, una, hindi ka na nagpo-pollute ng environment. Ang maintenance cost at operational cost ito ay napakatipid. Hindi na nga ito gumagamit ng gasolina. Wala ka nang kailangan din i-change oil. Wala ka nang kailangan palitang air filter, oil filter, mga bearing, mga piston at mga iba't ibang seals. So ibig sabihin nito, hanggat buo yung electric motor at maayos ang battery, aandar at aandar ang isang e-bike. Yun ang disadvantage ng e-bike. No? Since bagong technology ito, at karamihan ng ating mga mechanics at technicians ay sanay sa mga internal combustion engines, hindi pa masyadong common makahanap ng mga kayang mag-service sa mga ganitong klaseng vehicles. Ngayon sa paggamit nitong Horwin EK3, no, may expect mo medyo baka mahirap gamitin or medyo komplikado i-operate kasi isa itong electric scooter. Pero masasabi kong malayo sa katotohanan yun. Kasi ginagamit ko ito ng medyo matagal na at talagang gagamitin mo lang siya parang isang typical na scooter. Ang advantages lang din is una, hindi siya maingay at saka hindi amoy gas. So kahit sabihin mong e-bike ito at gumagamit ng mga kakaibang technology, hindi pa rin ito nalalayo sa paggamit ng isang typical na scooter. Parang isang normal combustion engine scooter lang ang ginagamit ko. Yun nga lang, andun ang benefits. Una, ang laki na ng natipid ko kasi never ko to pinagas. Pangalawa, napakatahimik ito so hindi nagagalit ang aking mga kapitbahay. Pangatlo, walang maintenance cost. Wala akong kailangan palitan langis o kahit anong palitan dito sa motorsiklong ito. Sinasabi rin nila na ang battery nitong Horwin ay good for at least 100,000 kilometers. Kaya sa tingin ko, lahat ng mga advantages ng isang e-bike combined with its practicality, hindi talaga nalalayo ang sinasabi nila na ang e-bike ay ang future ng transportation.
Ride PH Season 7 is co-presented by Angkas.
The Angkas sponsored rider